Bradford A, what's going on, buddy?
Oh, dude, we're past Thanksgiving. We're in full holiday cheer. And what better way to celebrate the holidays with one of the most cheerful people we know?
Yes. I'm so happy to. First of all, it's amazing to see her again because I have not seen her for a long time. And this is the queen of Christmas right now.
That's right.
That's what I'm going to call her.
You guys first met her as our dear Maxie in a time of transition. And then Teresa on Days. And now the queen of Christmas on Hallmark, Jen Lilley. Hi, Jen.
Jen Lilley!
You guys, y'all, I've known you for 9 years. 9.
I know, that's crazy. That's so crazy. How long were you at GH, by the way?
11 and a half months. It was supposed to be 3 weeks, and it was just like, you guys remember, it was just like, am I here next week? I don't know. I mean.
Exactly right. We were all kind of just shooting from the hip. But
So
was fun.
Yeah, it was awesome. Was that kind of your first foray into soap operas?
Oh, yeah. I was even told that I should never, ever meet a casting director who does soaps because I was way too awkward to ever be on soap operas. So I was like, that's fine.
That's hilarious.
I think the only reason I booked it was because I did comedy.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, because I remember you were telling me, like, because you would just come off of, like, Disaster Date or something, right? Is that right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
How do you remember that?
Well, no, because I remember we talked a lot when she came in. So, like, I remember, like, that's a fun transition from, like, something so crazy as that to something that people regard as so, like, serious, you know?
Yeah. Oh, fun or terrifying. You know, actually, the best, the best acting advice I ever got was actually from you, Bradford, because I remember being in your dressing room, we were running lines one day, and I was just so panicked, and you were like, look, Jen, here's the thing. There's another episode tomorrow. So if you just feel like you didn't do your best work, that's okay. You got another shot tomorrow. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, that's not really acting advice, but that's cool.
Well, no, but it's
well, you know, it's just
coping.
kind of like do your best and
I know.
You know, just go with it.
Well, I tell people, I go, hey, don't worry, they'll never see this again. You're fine.
No, that's a different way of saying it.
But you know, now that we run, like every once in a while, I get like a random residual check, and I'm like,
I know.
This episode airing?
This is from like you get a quarter from. You know,
well, I got to tell you, during
you
COVID
get a quarter,
time,
I get a dime.
There you go. That's right. During COVID time, I aired more on General Hospital than I have in the last 2 years. So as a recurring character, so it was kind of because all the reruns.
It always goes back to him, Jen.
And every time I aired, I was like, "Hey, Steve, I'm on the show. I'm gonna get a check."
So great.
All the time.
So first of all, tell us what you got going on right now because we want to make sure that's front and center.
Yeah.
So I think you're wearing
hold
the
on.
sweatshirt.
No, hold on. Stop.
What?
Stop. Because I just saw her. I went to my mom's house to put together something, and it was one of your Christmas movies, and because she's always watching, I'm sure it was on Hallmark, right?
Probably.
Okay. Well, it was one where you're like saving an apple farm or something.
Oh yeah. That's Hallmark. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that was Hallmark. Yeah. She goes, yeah, look at this movie. I go, oh, there's Jen, because you had dark hair. So it took me a second. I'm like, wait, I know her. I think I know her. So how many of these have you done?
I think the one I'm up here quarantining in Canada for right now is my 12th.
What?
That's crazy.
I know.
So
that is amazing, Jen Lilley.
We're taping this on November 19th. Is the one that you're filming now for this year? No. Okay.
Oh.
I know they turn them around quick.
Okay. All right. Tell us what you're doing right now.
Yeah, but tell us about the one this year.
Okay, so I mean, I do have a Christmas movie. I mean, I don't know when this airs, but I do have, mine is coming out the Saturday of Thanksgiving. It's called USS Christmas. So I've already filmed that. I filmed that like 2 months ago, but still they move super fast. And the one I'm up here doing now, the titles always change. Right now it's called Snow Kissed, and it airs sometime in January as part of Winterfest. So I will be doing an exterior movie in Banff, which I've heard is lovely. I'm still in quarantine.
Yes.
And I'm going to be freezing, and most of the movie takes place outside. So excited about that.
Okay, so I misinterpreted. I thought your sweatshirt was merch from a Hallmark movie. Is that just a sweatshirt that you're wearing?
This is merch from my fundraiser.
Oh,
Christmas is not canceled.
Christmas is not canceled. Right. All right. So, but awesome. the movie for 2020, do we know when it airs?
Yeah. So that's called USS Christmas. It airs Saturday, November 28th at 10 p.m. Oof, rough time slot at so drink some coffee and stay up or DVR it on Hallmark Movies and Mysteries.
Are you on a boat?
Yeah, I was gonna say. Are you on a boat?
What?
Are you
on a boat? Am I on a boat? I'm totally on a boat. You know what's so funny, guys?
USS.
I'm on a boat. Have you heard that?
I'm on a boat with my flippy floppies. Yeah.
Yes. Awesome.
Okay, 2 things. Can I just say, you know what I love is that you guys get comedy references, because while I loved my time at Days of Our Lives, and it was obviously a much less stressful situation than GH, because that was just like, what is happening all the time?
Sure.
I will make so many comedy references when I was on Days of Our Lives, and every time it was just like crickets. Like it was crickets. Like nobody.
They're very serious people.
Very serious, but very kind. But so I appreciate that. And then also, I don't remember what the other thing was I was going to say. So that's good. Great. Oh, awesome. On a boat.
You're on a boat.
I don't know. Yeah.
What was it?
Was it like a friend of mine, Angie? She reminded me. I've known her for years. She reminded me that she played the murderer or the alleged murderer of Dr. Niles on General Hospital. Do you guys remember when we had like the murder cruise?
Oh my gosh!
And, like somebody, okay, so it was
Was it on the haunted
character died or something like that? Lisa Niles died, and and we all were on set and we were like trying to solve this ridiculous murder mystery, and we all got the giggles.
I remember the boat. Yes.
Was it a haunted star? Was it the haunted star? Did they use?
No,
that
it
boat?
wasn't. No, it was an actual. It had like iron. It was a boat. It was like a ship.
Yes.
Was it a cargo ship?
Yeah.
I don't.
And
was it the Russians? Was it the Russian ship?
No. It was like some sort of like love cruise or something, and all of us got the giggles. And Frank was like everyone, like not just me, like everyone was laughing because nobody could remember when their one line came in, and we had to stay after. It was like the one day that you just went over on the time clock. And anyway, I was like, I do remember that.
That's funny. You know who else also does a fair amount of work? She just came out with a movie with Ryan Pavey. Is Erin Cahill. She was on GH for a bit as well. She kept. I think
Erin was on.
Yeah, she took me hostage at one point. So
that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. Anyway, so the US now. Tell us a little bit about USS Christmas. USS Christmas?
No.
Yeah, so USS Christmas. It's like Saving Christmas, which is why my whole fundraiser is called Operation Christmas Is Not Canceled. My character, she's a journalist. She goes on a Christmas tiger cruise.
What's a tiger?
Hang out with her sister.
What's a tiger
cruise?
Jen,
what's a tiger cruise?
Slow down, Jen.
Yeah, y'all. I didn't know this was a real thing. Okay. Apparently,
treat us like we don't know it's a real thing.
When you're in the military, when you're in the Navy specifically.
Yeah.
You can invite your family on what's called a Christmas Tiger Cruise, where they go aboard the ship and they learn what life is like in the Navy.
Okay.
And so that's what my character does. I'm very reluctant because my dad was a fighter pilot who passed away in the Navy. And of course, I meet Lieutenant Billy Jenkins, and he's a fighter pilot, and we fall in love. Spoiler alert. So it's fun.
His family didn't come. Since he didn't have a family, I'm guessing, or did you steal him from his family?
His dad apparently was a fighter pilot with my dad, and so there's a lot of foot and mouth. I always get the lucky characters that get foot and mouth, which is my favorite. I spill wine on people, and I'm just constantly eating crow. Sure. So
what was Billy Jenkins' fighter pilot name?
Did he have a code
name? It was Billy
name?
Jenkins,
but he didn't have a name like Matt, the Grinch.
Yeah, Grinch.
Wow.
His code name. Played by Trevor Donovan, who was also on Days of Our Lives, but not when I was on Days.
Wow.
Interesting.
Cool.
And you've worked with have you done a movie with Ryan Pavey?
Yeah, that Harvest movie that Steven was talking about.
Yeah, the Apple movie.
Apple Time.
Whatever. Pears. Actually, I think it was Pears.
Oh, it was Pears. Pear time.
It's so funny because you're like, I had dark hair, but when it's me, you just gotta like cover your eyes and just listen with your ears. I have that same telling, annoying talking voice.
No, you don't. You did amazing, by the way. You had some great scenes in that movie. I was watching with my mom. I'm like, what am I doing? I got to put together a bike.
They suck you in. People like it has become I mean, I think it's always been a thing, but like they've done a really great job at branding, like seizing the time. Like, hey, everybody wants to get in the spirit. This is the way to get in the spirit. Like, and I love that.
Yeah, I mean, Hallmark is definitely part of everybody's Christmas now, and for sure part of everybody's 2020 when we're just like, I don't want to hear it anymore.
Right, exactly.
Well, it's just so funny because it's become the soap opera. It's like people are so addicted to. I had a guy call me who he's like, oh man, I'm so hooked on these Hallmark movies. I'm like, what? He's an accountant. He's just watching Hallmark movies with his wife all the time. He's like, I love them. I want to write one. I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, there's probably a very and you can speak to this because you've done them. Like, I imagine the viewers, there's something for the same reason that they get comfortable watching a soap or whatever. There is somewhat of a formula, right? And so, like, that you're gonna come out happy, and so like there must be something you can kind of just like ease into it.
I want to do one that has
a mathematical formula for sure.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I want to do one where one of them dies at the end. That's a good twist.
Bringing the soap to Hallmark.
Come on.
Yes.
Someone's got to die.
Sad, dead Christmas.
I won't have my black t-shirt on though.
No.
I'll have a sweater.
Well, tell us about your fundraiser, and then we want to learn more about how you got to this place. But tell us more about your fundraiser.
So it's called Operation Christmas is Not Canceled, and it's christmasisnotcanceled.com. And I named it that because, freaking everything has been canceled in 2020. And, on like a real note, I think we know it's been a hard year for everyone, but I normally do fundraisers for children in foster care, as you all know. And this year I just thought, gosh, it's not just foster children that really need Christmas. And you all are both parents, so you can understand and empathize with the idea of, while we all love a DIY Christmas and we can appreciate family, your kids are still going to be like, right, but where's my Tonka truck? And, you know, and so it's like you as a parent, like you don't want to you want to have an answer. And especially kids believe in the magic of Christmas, and no parent wants to feel like Santa didn't bring their kids some sort of awesome gift. So for this fundraiser, I'm supporting Toys for Tots, which has, a long-standing awesome reputation.
That's awesome.
And because my movie's military themed, also 10% of every package goes to the USO to support military families as well. Awesome. And I just thought, so whoever wins, they're going to win the ultimate Christmas. So I partnered up with Balsam Hill, and you get like everything you see in my background. The Balsam Hill Christmas tree, the ornaments, the tree topper, the tree skirt, the Fabfit Fun Winter box, toys for your kids.
The dinner, Christmas dinner.
Yeah, Christmas dinner with the pie and everything delivered straight to your door.
Yeah.
You get Hallmark movie subscription, the popcorn, the hot chocolate,
awesome.
The mugs, the blanket, the stockings, so many things, $1,500 cash to pay your bills. And then the whole thing benefits Toys for Tots and USO. So it's just kind of and there's weekly giveaways too. So it's a fun way to make fundraising fun, give people hope, and spread cheer. And, our goal is to give 10,000 children Christmas this year, and we are at just under 4,700 right now. So, and we're right about at the halfway mark. So I'm hoping we reach that goal.
Okay, so
awesome.
So everybody go to Christmas is Not Canceled. I'm on the site now. It looks awesome. Check it out. And what a great way to kind of give back during this time. So
yeah,
that's amazing.
Well done.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So are you
going to ask all the questions today?
You've been talking too.
Yeah, a little bit. Go ahead.
That's like my one true love, though.
Okay, that's fine. Listen, I just try to make guests feel comfortable. I match my face color to their sweatshirt. So that's what I try to do. Shut up, Bradford. Shut your mouth. Go ahead. Ask her the question, and then I have some questions for Jen Lilley.
Well, I just thought, obviously we've talked about, what you're doing now, what you've done over the last 9-10 years as an actress. But here on That's Awesome, we like to talk about where people started and, how they found their creative voice and their creative outlet, and basically how they got to where they are. And so where are you from?
I'm from Roanoke, Virginia. Never thought I would be an actress. I mean, I think maybe as children, like, I don't know what your experience was like, but I think I always knew I had an interest in it but I'm from Roanoke and nobody becomes an actor. And if you do become an actor, you're like a weird theater kid that does not have a grip on life. And, you know, like you're never going to make money. So you just don't do it. You are a weird theater kid.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. But no, when the path isn't laid out for you, there isn't that connection to, oh, I can do that too. It just feels completely separate and foreign. Yeah. But how did you, what were you doing what did you do as a kid? What kind of kid were you?
I have no idea. I mean, a nerd. I read a lot of books. I was really into Laura Ingalls Wilder. So, and I played in the woods a lot. Again, because I really like Laura Ingalls Wilder.
But that's where your imagination came from, though.
I mean, I guess, you know, sure. That or not having friends and making them up. No.
That's it too. That's it too.
Yeah. So we could get the short version, but we always say, well, we talk to obviously a lot of actors. So there's always a lot of different paths to the same destination, so to speak. Right. Yeah. So was yours college? Was it theater? Was it moving to LA? Was it something local where you were, and then you went to LA? How did it happen?
I mean, in a nutshell, I was in college. I was studying Spanish to be a court interpreter, which is a shame because I speak very little Spanish these days. It's pretty terrible.
Why did you go to college? Why did you go to college with that in mind then? That fascinates me.
Because I was really good at Spanish at the time. Like I was almost fluent.
Such a specific choice. Like I thought I was going to be a court interpreter.
Yeah. So my dad was a judge and I was like, I don't know if I want to go to law school. That was something I had also considered, you know, maybe becoming a child advocate. But I had found out when I was little that court interpreters made like $75 to $150 an hour. And I was like, that sounds amazing without having to like go home and take your work home with you like a lawyer does, you know?
Sure.
And it's not, maybe I can't comment to this, but my perception is that it's probably not as emotionally taxing or stressful as being a lawyer or something because you're just literally repeating, right? And you're getting really good money. So like that was a practical thing to do in Virginia.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I was attending University of Virginia for that. And I quickly dropped out of that program because long story short, I had like skipped a year in high school of Spanish because my teacher was just such a witch. And so I was like, fine, I don't actually need you to get into University of Virginia's AP program. So I quit Spanish and I was like, what am I going to do? And I was just studying. I saw all these posters for an open audition for a movie called The Loss of Life. It was an indie film shooting in Virginia and they were like graffiti all over campus. And I basically thought the more I saw them, the more annoyed I was. And the more I would think like, I wonder if I could do that. And so I ended up going home and I took out an old video camera and I just started recording the audition and I would watch it back and I'd be like, wow, I am so bad at acting. And so I would watch it back.
That's not what I expected.
Well, yeah, like, I was really bad, you know, and nobody starts out like brilliant.
I just thought maybe you'd be like, wow, I have kind of a knack for this.
Oh, I was horrible. And so I was just like, I would watch it back and be like, wow, that sounded really scripted and I don't believe a word I just said. And so I would just record it and watch it back and record it and watch it back until I felt like, okay, I kind of like believe that I'm that character now. I went in and I auditioned as a dare to myself and I ended up booking the female lead and then I got on set and I was like scared to death, like thinking, what have I gotten myself into? And I realized that everyone I feel like I've ever worked with in film or television is just a really creative and awesome, grounded person. You know, they're different than community theater kids. I really enjoyed working with those people and I thought I really felt like that was what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. So I read a bunch of business books on acting because I think, as you all well know, there are a lot of talented actors that don't work and there are a lot of not talented actors that work a lot. And so I was like, there's got to be a recipe here. I didn't have nepotism in my favor. And so I just started studying the business of acting and really started watching really critically acclaimed films. And then I would get the director's commentary and I would watch the director's commentary after I watched the movie. And I would just get out a notebook and take notes like, okay, why did this actor really connect with the director? And what did this actor do? But I mean, for me, the breaking point really was General Hospital. That was really my kind of launching point.
So and you were still in Charlottesville or Roanoke when you were doing that study, or did you, after you did that short film or that independent film, you were like, art to LA? How did you connect those two things?
I graduated because my parents were like, you better freaking get a degree if you want to be an actor. That's the most ridiculous thing we've ever heard in our lives.
Yeah. What's your degree in?
Theater with a minor in environmental science with a concentration in geology.
That's amazing. Amazing. But so you did end up taking theater classes though.
Sort of. So at UVA, acting is an elective that they make very difficult to take. So I learned producing, I learned lighting, I learned sound, I learned everything that was really, I felt would be advantageous as a film actor versus just a theater actor.
Okay.
So, learning lighting is imperative. And that's something that I learned most from soap operas, but just learning basics about lighting. And then I would intern for local productions that would come through the Virginia. I would basically be the gopher, the set PA. I would work for free so that I could get on-set experience. And so I graduated early because I hated UVA. Sorry to UVA. And it was very as snobby as everybody acts like it is. So I graduated early and I was engaged to Jason, my husband. And so I would teach long-term substitute taught kindergarten during the day. And then I waited tables at night while he was in college. And then we got married and I saved up all of our money and we moved to LA and we're just like crazy poor. And we moved there. I mean, crazy poor. Like we literally ate rice and eggs and onions for 7 months. That was all we had. I bought a 50-pound bag of rice on clearance at Costco for $6.98. And we had no heat, no hot water. We lived with roaches. I mean, it was for real. And
you were in the deep
there during the writer's strike.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, and so that was the one time where it would be a good thing to be a non-union actor. But during the writer's strike, because you guys were probably already in the union, I wasn't, of course. So I was like, okay, great, I can work as a non-union actor. But SAG put out these very threatening messages that was
don't do it.
If you work as a non-union actor, we will never let you in the union out of solidarity. So it was like, okay, I guess I'm standing with a union that I'm not even in.
Right.
That's so rough.
That's a tough one.
Well, and also we kept, they brought in non-union writers.
The worst.
Well, they might not have been non-union writers. That's why I did that.
Under different names.
Yeah. So I'm not saying that that's exactly what happened, but it might have. I don't know. So we kept working, which we were the only thing in town that was still working. And gosh, I forgot about that time because then you think about 2020 when we were back in August and the only people working again, speaking of cockroaches, soaps are like cockroaches. You can't kill us.
Knock on wood. Knock on wood.
Yeah, right? Yeah, exactly right.
Go back at some point.
Yeah. So, okay. So is that when you guys were living in the Deep Valley or did you stay in the Deep Valley too? Because I remember you guys lived up in Pacoima at some point, right?
Yeah, we did. So that was 2007. 2007, 2008. And that's when I joined GH in 2011. And after that, we ended up we lived in that place 6 months or 7 months. And then it was we had no heat, no water, anything. And my parents came to visit and my dad started studying California law. And he and his buddies pro bono basically threatened to sue the landlords because it was total slum. It was total illegal. So we didn't get money or anything. We didn't have to sue them, but basically we were we're going to breach this contract because you're actually in breach of your contract on these 11 health codes.
Oh,
and so we moved into a rental property and then we ended up buying in Pacoima, which is why we lived there. For anyone listening, I loved living there. It was traffic was always the opposite direction and we flipped our house.
So what was the first,
amazing.
What was your first, when did you start making money as an actress, I guess?
I was pretty fortunate in that I started working kind of right away. I was doing background because that was the only thing I was allowed to do. And, if you guys remember, the webisodes in YouTube was kind of a new phenomenon and they were not going on certainly in 2008. So there was no Taft-Hartleying yourself, which for people not listening don't know what that is. In order to get into the actors union, you have to have a certain amount of hours of work and you have to, or you can be Taft-Hartleyed, which means someone gives you a role they say that a non-union actor has to fill this role, and it's very hard to do. It's easier to do now because people can do web series and then kind of write themselves in. That was not an option for me.
No,
so I was doing background.
Yeah.
And I did background for Clint Eastwood in Changeling, and that was a movie with Angelina Jolie, and so he selected me because I had a very 1920s face and style, and he selected me out of a crowd of like 2,500, and they Taft Hartley'd me, and my scene ended up getting cut. It wasn't like I had lines, but I reacted with her like I was crying with Angelina Jolie. So that was in 2008, and I got into the union because of that. And then my first role was 2.5 Men. So, I mean, I was pretty fortunate right out of the gate.
Yeah.
I was doing co-stars regularly. Then I booked a bunch of comedy pilots that didn't go. And then the year that I booked the comedy pilots that just never, made it to air was the year that I did The Artist, which won the Academy Award. And then I got General Hospital. So I was very fortunate. I worked really hard. I did network. I followed up with people. I used to make like candy bars and homemade fudge and drop them off to like 500 casting offices, like handwritten notes. And I mean, I was going to say you're a
thank you note person. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. But I also really got in fast, and I'm very fortunate for that. So
that's awesome. And so then obviously we had our time on GH, which, that was a challenging but a really fun time, and you took it like a champ. You always came in prepared. You worked hard, but that must not have been, in hindsight, an easy experience.
It was incredibly difficult, to be honest. Yeah. I mean, the cast was amazing, and I loved all of you guys, and I loved especially I hope I don't cry, but I loved Donna Mancina, who I just so missed. She was our head makeup artist, and she was always just so kind to me. And which is interesting because Donna was a rough around the edges lady that was really hard to impress. And she took me under her wings day one, because she said she saw me and she thought I was this pretty blonde airhead. And then I said I lived in Pacoima, and she almost peed her pants. And I was just like, well, that's really good. And she was like, you're weird. I like you. And so, but to be honest, when I'm open about this, I think the entire situation for me was really stressful because, luckily Kirsten and I get along. We've only met a couple times, we have no hard feelings, but it was a tough situation of people feeling like I was trying to replace her. And I don't know if you guys remember, the fans were so mean. Okay, the best fan letter I ever got. And I wish they ended up being nice, because finally on Valentine's Day, I remember I wrote a statement that was just look, I'm so sorry. I want to do sitcoms. This is not what I want either. Please don't cancel this show because of me. I'm so sorry. I know I'm not her, but I do read all of your comments. And if you could just not tag me on Twitter, I don't care if you want to make a voodoo doll, and kill me in your basement. Please just don't tag me. I'm reading them. And then finally the fans are that's fine. Guys, best fan note I ever got.
Yeah.
And I just moved again, and I was looking for it. I was literally I went through every piece of fan mail that I had saved, because I was if I could just find this letter, I would frame it. It was the best fan mail I ever got. It's on GH. I remember I was reading all the fan mail, and most of the people were I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. Just wanted to write you to let you know I hate you. Some people liked me, and that was nice. So this one lady, I read the letter, and it's handwritten. It's I am 95 years old, or 93. She was in her 90s. She's and I have never written a piece of fan mail in my life. And I wanted to write you. And I was oh my God. And I remember I stopped and I went, oh, I literally was in my dressing room and I went, oh, that is so sweet. This 90-year-old woman took the time to write me a letter. First piece of fan mail she's ever written, and she's writing it to me.
Right.
I continue reading. And I just have to let you know that the sound of your voice makes me want to drown my own grandchildren.
Oh my gosh. Oh no. No.
Oh my word.
And I don't know whether I saved it, but it's my favorite piece of fan mail I've ever gotten in my whole life. I wish I had saved it so I could frame it. I was just I'm sorry. My voice is lower in my head.
Was it written with individual pieced out letters from a magazine?
Yeah.
Or was it in sweet cursive?
No, it was handwritten and everything.
It was
just
amazing. I don't want to even say that's amazing, because it's not. But
yeah,
it is amazing.
That's very interesting.
Well, and I'm trying to remember around that time, I guess in 2011, what were we on Twitter as much as yeah,
that's kind of when we first got on.
Twitter was like the only thing going on. There was no Instagram, and Facebook was like for our
moms. It was like the new
only
thing. Yeah.
Well,
because I remember like when I came on and everyone told me how ugly I was and annoying. That was mostly on like MySpace and Facebook, you know, and plenty of, you know, and then of course there was more when Twitter came out, but the most of them in the early days when they were, you know, super into telling me all those lovely things that people told you. That was mostly on, I think, Facebook and MySpace. So at least on MySpace, they're gone forever.
Well, it's a refreshing surprise that Twitter hasn't really changed much. So
that's right. I mean, hey, that's nice. Nice. Stay true. Stay true, Twitter. Stay true.
Yeah. Keep hating people. It's awesome.
So, but then after that, you went on to, how long between that and Days?
So I did GH 2011 to 2012, and then in like February of 2013, like only like 4 or 5 months went by before Days, and I actually said no to Days of Our Lives at first, because I was like, I can't do another soap opera, like I can't do it. And I obviously ended up taking it. I prayed about it, and I really felt like that was what I was supposed to do. And you know, it redeemed soap operas for me. Like, I loved you guys. I love General Hospital, and I do think that GH has incredible actors like Bradford. I talk about you actually all the time in interviews, because you are the only actor I've ever worked with in my entire life where, you know, like, I'm a giggler, but I could look at you before a scene, and if you were in it, like, you could bring me from like, I cannot get it together laughter to like tears, you know, like to where I needed to be in the scene. And you've always just been so present. And I've yet to find anybody that's as talented as you that I've worked with. And I've worked with some amazing actors, but you're my fave. And, but Days really redeemed soaps for me. I had so much fun over there. You know, it was a different experience because I was coming in as an original character versus like feeling like I was filling shoes and having to apologize that like I wasn't somebody else. And, you know, the cast over there is super nice too. And the atmosphere at Days.
Can't take a joke, but they're nice. Right.
Yeah, they don't know. They just don't get it. Like, I remember our son's name was Tate. Y'all, our son's name was Tate Black. Tate Black. And I was like, and his name was supposed to mean happiness. And I was like, can we just go with the Jewish name Asher? Like, is this like a writer's kid's name? Like, why are we going with Tate? Tate Black sounds like Taint Black. And like, I mean, like, my mind is in the gutter. This is a horrible name. And I was like, what are we going to do? Have a daughter named Mulva next? And they were like, Mulva? And I was like, yeah, Mulva. You know? And like, nobody understood that it was a Seinfeld reference. I was like, it's a Seinfeld reference.
Dolores!
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Like, why Mulva? I was like, just never mind. No. Like, there's so many moments like that where I was like, whatever.
Come on.
But Days was cool. I mean,
how long were you at Days?
I ended up being on there for I think like 3.5, 4 years, which was funny because I had a 4-year contract and I got them down to 2 because I was like, well, I want to do comedy, and I ended up staying because I just loved it so much.
Yeah, that's awesome. So loving comedy so much, was it difficult to be in the emotional, you know, the grind of sometimes you're in a story that's super deep and emotional for months at a time? Is it hard for you to shake it?
You know, it depends on the storyline, and I think you guys know that too. You know, I think that sometimes we get storylines that, you know, as an actor, you're just like, this is so preposterous that I'm going to have to really put in the work. And then you get some that are just organically so connected to your character that, like, even thinking about those scenes, even for me, like now, make me want to cry, you know, because they were so real to you. But I was spoiled because Teresa was a really hilarious character. I mean, she was the comedic relief of the show, much like Maxie's funny, you know, like Maxie has serious moments, but she also is saying what everybody's thinking and sticking her foot in her mouth. So I got to be the comedic relief. So it was a nice balance.
So you got to do a little bit of that. That's great.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Awesome. I'm obviously creating your own character, and obviously through those years, I think everything maybe sped up a little bit more. But do you remember different processes and like the way they worked over Days versus the way they worked at GH?
I felt like they were the same. I mean, you know, there's nothing like soaps. Like they are one take, you know, no teleprompter, so many pages a day.
Right.
so little time or little room to mess up. And that's what I love about soaps, is that there's something about the adrenaline of only having one take to really nail it that just make you so present.
But how much has that helped you with Hallmark movies?
Oh, immensely. Though at the same time, it kind of stinks because sometimes you're like, why are we doing a 15th take? Like, I can't.
Sure. Yeah.
Did you not get it?
Totally.
Like, sometimes I get frustrated. You know, I'll be like, was it the focus puller? Like, am I not in focus? Or like, why are we doing this again?
Yeah, that's so interesting. So after Days, when did you start doing, because I know you establish relationships, like there's a director that you work with a lot, like, right? Isn't there? Yeah. So how did that happen? Like, was it just, you just randomly got cast in one and then it turned into more, or was it something else?
I was on Days when I did my first Hallmark movie. I think it came about one of two ways, or a combo of both. First, I did a movie called The Spirit of Christmas, which was an independent film, which ended up being the #1 Christmas movie in the world the year it premiered. And it was—
Did Hallmark buy it?
Oh,
sorry. You're about to say, I think you're about to answer the question that I was asking.
Okay. So Hallmark, Lifetime, and Netflix got in a bidding war over it. And for some reason, Lifetime put in the highest bid, which was very interesting because Lifetime of the three is definitely the cheapest.
Sure.
And I guess Lifetime really wanted it. And then that movie did really well. And so it got Hallmark's attention. And ironically, that movie is now on Hallmark. I have no idea how the licensing works for that. People think it's a Hallmark movie, and I'm like, it's not. And so that, I think, got everybody's attention. Like, oh, she can be a romantic lead. But then at the same time, Penny Perry, who cast all of the Hallmark movies, is a huge Days of Our Lives fan. So I think it was kind of both.
Interesting.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool.
So, awesome. And when you did that first one, where you were like, did something click at all for you? Like, or either process wise, or like understanding the formula, or having worked in so many different mediums, how is work, and obviously you've done so many now, but how is working on those films? Like, where is the crew? Like, where do you feel the most creative? Where do you feel the most fun? Where do you feel the most free? And what are the drawbacks and the challenges?
Gosh, loaded question.
Sorry.
I mean, as far as just easing into them, I think for me, soap operas were surprising when I got soap operas, because again, I was told, you know, you're not good enough to be, like, you're not pretty enough, you're too awkward and you're too quirky to be on a soap, so that's fine. And then, you know, on Days, I played like a badass, and I was like, I make sense for Hallmark. Hallmark makes sense for me on and off screen. Like, I'm more into those characters. So falling into it was easy. But I think as far as the process goes, it depends on the director. And you guys know that, you know, because you have rotating directors. You might have more fun with Stephen Mackenzie than you do maybe another director, but that's because Stephen Mackenzie has like a great sense of humor. And so he might allow you to punch up the comedy moments more. And so I think, you know, with any role, and you guys could comment to this too, you kind of are feeling out your director and what he or she has the vision for. And I think that I can really attribute soaps to getting rehired on films, because every director I've worked with so far has been like, wow, you are very connected. You're always prepared. You know your lighting. You save me on shots that aren't going well because, you know, you just like rotate your weight to find the camera because you're like, this shot is not going well. Yeah. And you can do that, stay connected, know your lines. And then also, you know, I find soap actors can be very technical. We know our lighting. We know sound. We know all of it. And so when you do that and when you're consistent, that's when you're going to get rehired, because they don't have time either. You know, they're cranking these movies out in 3 weeks. And while that's not a soap opera, it's still pretty fast for film.
Yes.
So, I mean, I think I find the most fun once you kind of, for me, if I find a director that has a sense of humor, then I will kind of ask them, you know, like, how married to the script are you? Do you mind if I add buttons? You know, can I, or to the other actor, you know, like with this movie with Trevor, I call him like my Top Gun tour guide or whatever. That's in the script. So I was just like, do you mind if I call you Goose? Like, I would love to call you Maverick because you're more attractive like a Maverick, but I feel like Goose is such a funny thing. So I would like slap him and be like, come on, Goose, you know, like, and I would throw in those lines and they're like, that's fine.
Yeah. That's amazing. Awesome. That's really fun. Well, yeah, because feeling like you have, you know, I think one thing, and maybe you felt it more on Days than you did on GH, is once you get to know a character so well, once you know the process so well, is you find those moments to insert your own instincts. And if you don't feel comfortable, it's not easy to insert your own instincts or to go with your instinct. But and if you're in a creative environment where you can't feel like you can follow your instincts, that's less fun. So
totally.
Yeah. So that makes a lot of sense. And you have a director that you work with quite a lot. Is that accurate?
I mean, I the one you're probably referring to is Christy Wolf. I mean, we've done like 6 or 7 projects together, but
aren't they all about restaurants?
No, that's so funny and so like cliche, but no.
2 of them are about restaurants.
We've actually done a lot of animal movies together, which is hilarious because I'm allergic to everything. I'm like,
oh, that's funny.
That's great. Funny. I have a cat. Great. I'll just need an EpiPen before we do this scene. That's fine. I've actually been really honored and privileged in that I've actually worked with every director I've ever worked with more than once.
Awesome.
That's a testament to how you work. That's awesome.
Totally.
Yeah.
Cool. So wait, before we wrap this up, because I know we're getting short on time. Jen, I want to ask you about your music. I saw that you're recording some songs, or what's going on with that?
Yeah. Well,
why are you laughing?
I'm laughing because when is this gonna air, you guys?
Like 2 weeks maybe? Or we can air it.
We can air it sooner.
By the time this airs, you guys are the only ones I've told about this so far. By the time this airs, I'm laughing because I got started with music because I did Baby It's Cold Outside with Eric Martzoff.
That's right.
I don't know if you guys know Eric, but he's like super fun and awesome. He's got a great personality. He's amazing.
Totally.
Yeah. So we did Baby It's Cold Outside for the fans. Like, oh, we'll do a Brady and Teresa edition because he sings. And it went like viral. So this year I decided to re-record, not with Eric though. I'm doing it with another country singer named Brian Lanning, who like a lot of people love. So I'm doing Baby It's Cold Outside, the 2020 version.
Amazing. I can't even imagine.
And so it's like, I really can't stay 6 feet away. Right.
Oh,
so like
funny.
the whole thing has like a bunch of like 2020 references, and it's like, I'll take your mask, your smile looks swell. And then of course, instead of saying, if you got pneumonia and died, he goes, if you got corona. And I go, oh, don't even say
it.
That's amazing. That's
awesome.
really clever.
Yeah, that's releasing soon. I like to have a sense of humor.
Yeah, where will people be able to find that? Just like on regular music?
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be like everywhere, iTunes, Spotify, all the things.
Awesome.
They're still setting up the release. But I did a real album, like a legit album. It's called Hindsight. And 100% of my profits go to charity. So the people can find that either on christmasisnotcanceled.com or jenlilleymusic.com. But that one's amazing because I had Adele's musicians, and I had
wow,
like
that's
Diane
amazing.
Warren, and Adrian Gervitz was my producer, who's multi-Grammy winning songwriter and producer. So that one was crazy awesome, and I'm really proud of it.
Really cool.
That is awesome. So talking about this season, you're quarantining for a new movie. So what does that mean? Because I know you have a full household now, which is awesome.
I do.
And so they probably didn't allow them to come with you.
Yeah, no. I mean, I first of all, Jeffrey, we just adopted, so we don't even have his new birth certificate or any info or papers to even show that we adopted. So he doesn't have a passport yet. So that's the main issue. But I also was thinking with Jason, quarantining with 3 toddlers would be horrible because like they don't understand. There's no toys, and like you can't go anywhere, and you can't grocery shop, and
to which
in the middle of nowhere. So
to which he replied, single parenting with 3 toddlers is pretty terrible too, Jen. So
yeah, we have some help. And
okay,
and
good.
He's
Okay,
actually like with family in Virginia right now.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great.
So he's like hanging out with the fam, and they've got like grandparents helping. So yeah, I was like, I'll send you guys to Virginia where it's safe, and like I don't know what's going on with this election.
Sure.
So like you guys go home, be with family, and I'll just go to freaking Manitoba and do Thanksgiving by myself.
So you're in Manitoba, but you're shooting in Alberta.
I'm shooting both. Yeah, we're doing both.
What? Oh, you're doing 2 movies right now?
No, so we're doing both.
2 locations. 2 locations.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Got it.
Yeah,
so
we start in Manitoba, and then I get
city stuff in Winnipeg and country stuff in Banff.
Totally.
Cool.
Amazing. Well, it is so good to catch up with you.
Yeah, Jen, thanks
This
for
has
joining
been
us. It's
so
awesome.
fun. Congratulations on all the stuff you got going. Obviously, the artistic stuff, but all the humanitarian stuff and the way you fight for the causes that you believe in and work for them is truly impressive. And
Awesome.
yeah, we applaud you.
So awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jen. Great to see you.
So happy holidays.
Yes.
Yeah.
Christmas is not canceled, just so you know.
That's
.com.
Way to bring that back. Love it.
Yeah.